So here's your spine from the side. So we want, this is just your basic anatomical picture of your spine from the side. We want your spine to be a very gentle S-curve. All is well. So if you take, let's say if you took a pipe cleaner and made an S and pressed down on the top of it, as you press down on the top of the S would get bigger, right? If, assuming the pipe cleaner had some recoil, if you took your fingers off the top of the pipe cleaner, then the pipe cleaner could then spring back up, which is exactly what your spine is supposed to be. It's a big spring with a bunch of bumper cushions designed to absorb and distribute the force of gravity as long as it's in this beautiful spring position. Okay, so all is well. Now, the Industrial Revolution hits, things are invented that force people to sit more than they ever have in history. So we've got the TV, we've got the car, we've got the computer. A lot of people sit a lot more than they ever have. So if you look at a protractor, so here's 90 degrees, here is 10 degrees. If your head comes forward even 10 degrees, things start to shift. So here comes your head out here, here's your spine, now back here. So now you're not so happy because these guys back here may or may not complain. Here comes gravity. Now you've got some complaints, maybe in your neck, maybe in your shoulders, maybe at just the end of the day you say, oh, you know, my shoulders are in my ears, this is where I carry my stress, blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, And let's also look at where your head is and where the rest of your body is up to. So, but you still have your S-shaped spine, so you're doing okay. Unfortunately, when most people sit, not only does their head come forward, but their hips slip underneath them. And that has the effect of pulling the bottom half of the curve this direction. And now instead of an S from the side, now you're a very gentle C. Now you're not so happy because here comes the force of gravity. These guys may or may not complain. If you take that same pipe cleaner and made a C and pressed it on the top of it, what would happen to the C? Well, you get a bend or break point here in the middle of your back, or all the force of gravity ends up concentrating in your low back. So if you're a C, a leaning tower of Pisa, or a classic basketball coach, to me, again, it's just a matter of time. You insist on moving, your body's going to find a way, but if your body isn't in a great position to do that, then it will have difficulty, and it will let you know in the form of some symptom, some itis, some something. So here's my favorite picture of why you do not want to be a C. This is actually an advertisement for a seat insert, and the picture on the right shows this person sitting up straight. They've got their hips underneath them. Here's their ear, here's the shoulder, here's the hip. Essentially, that makes a straight line. The picture on the left, you've got your ear, you've got your shoulder, and your hip should be back here. Instead, the hip is way up here. So the straight line shows that instead of sitting on your hip when you sit or drive, you're now sitting on your spine. And you can see the sort of pressure that's exerted on the inside of the vertebrae there. If you take, going back to the Oreo cookie analogy, if you take the two cookie parts on an Oreo cookie and smash the cookie parts together, what happens to the double stuff? Well, it could squish out on a warm day. And unfortunately, it could bonk into a nerve root. And then you get tingling down your arm, or shooting pain down your leg. No matter what, nerve pain still falls into that big category of symptom. And if you're experiencing a symptom, the question is why? Why are you experiencing that symptom? Let's eliminate all the possibilities that could be potentially causes of your symptoms rather than just trying to mitigate the symptoms with classic Western medicine choices, which are drugs, ignore it, surgery, or physical therapy. And I love physical therapy, but your insurance company probably won't pay for physical therapy for the rest of your life if it still hurts you. So, last thing, with shoulders. We have two shoulder blades. They're supposed to be right here by your spine on the back of your rib cage. Shoulder blades are supposed to come together. They have 5 basic movements. Shoulder blades are supposed to come together, go apart, come up, come down, and then up and rotate. And there are corresponding muscles with each movement for the shoulder blade. With your head forward, with your hips slipping underneath you, it's very difficult for your shoulders to stay back here where they belong. They're going to come forward with the rest of the crew. Now, if you spend enough time in that position, your body starts to learn it. You develop a little muscle memory. So now this muscle, this chest muscle, which was this far apart, you brought the two attachment points closer together. So this muscle was this long, now you bring the attachment point closer together, now the muscle is this long. So your body learns this new length. This muscle, its antagonist, was this length. Now you've pulled the two attachment points further apart. Now the muscle is this length. So now you've got a joint, the shoulder, which isn't in balance with the muscles around it. So now the joint has to do more of the work rather than relying on the muscles. So mostly what we want is you just to be just like that page 1 of the anatomy book. Mr. or Ms. anatomically correct. Nice level shoulders, nice level hips, knees and feet that point straight ahead, arms that hang on the side of your body where you can see thumb and side of finger. He's just flashing his forearm muscle there for purposes of illustration. But what we want is balanced muscles from front to back and left to right. And now we will put you in front of a mirror and have you look at your shoulders and your hips and your knees and your ankles and see what you look like, holding still and moving, because sometimes those are two different things. Try some exercises and then put you in front of the mirror again and see what we can do to affect your structure. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how much you can personally do. And that is my personal philosophy, is that I want to teach you as much as I know about muscles and what I've learned over the last 15 years so that you can help yourself. You don't have to go to someone to feel better. You can always have me or Margaret as a resource, but you have control of your body. Okay, so that'll wrap it up, and I'll look forward to talking to you in the very near future. Thanks a lot.